country. Come on, don't be ashamed of your roots, baby. Let them know. Oh yeah. I was country. Before country was cool. I'm so country, y'all. From my hat down to my boots. I was raised in the city. On the southern soul. Got the greens with the hog maw. Man, I love them country folks. Dirty South. Hey, Mississippi, where you at? Tell me, Alabama, what it do? I love staying down in this country woods. Baby, tell me how about you? ATV, in the side by side. We get down to dirt.
Yo, what's happening? Boss Man CNB Outdoors. How everybody doing today? Hope all is well. Hope y'all enjoying the weather. But I'm back with another video. So we're gonna talk about a few things today. Y'all remember the controversial video I put out about that spike. So I'm still trying to play catch up on my video. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit today. Y'all remember the video. Then y'all remember the visit I got from the Game Warden. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the citation and a few more things. So we're gonna start out with the video, so y'all stay tuned. All right, so at this point, I'm looking down or doing whatever, messing with my clothing or something, and I just happen to look up and this buck is already crossing the pipeline. And I'm looking at him or whatever. And I decided to take this deer because when I looked at him, I noticed the long brown tire on one side, and it looked like it was about 12 inches long. It was long. So I done already made up in my mind that this here is a one-sided spike. So we're gonna pause the camera right here, and I want you to just look at this deer and tell me what you see. Because when this deer was walking across the pipeline, all I saw was the long brown tire. I didn't see the break on the side. I couldn't see it. So I done already made up in my mind that I'm gonna shoot this deer, so I'm no longer focusing on his antlers. I'm focusing on taking my shot. So I zoom in the camera, get the camera in place, and I'm getting ready to take my shot. So when I bring my rifle up, I'm not looking at his antlers no more. I've already made up my mind that I'm gonna shoot this deer. So I take the shot on this deer, and it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? Once you send that bullet, you can't bring it back. And I've been hunting this pipeline for 40 years, so I know what the deer gonna do. I know what the deer gonna cross. And 9 times out of 10, you have to be ready. Because when those deer come across that pipeline, everything is gonna happen just like this here, just like that. It's gonna happen. Cause y'all seen, I was looking down when I raised up, that deer was already coming across the pipeline. And I'm surprised he stopped, cause usually they don't stop. And you know, everybody was saying, had a few people saying, oh, you need to pull corn down, or you need some binoculars and, you know, whatever. But I understand all that. But when those deer start crossing that pipeline, you're not gonna have time to pick up no binoculars. And as far as the corn, yeah, you might get some does to stop for some corn, but a buck is not gonna stop for no corn. I've put corn down before, and those bucks, they do not pay that corn no attention. So I get all that. But now we're gonna look at the zoom part. The deer is looking up the pipeline. And now, yeah, you can see the break off to the side. You can see it now. But when that deer is turned the other direction, you cannot see that. And like I said, I've been hunting this pipeline for 40 years, and if you're not paying attention, you may miss a buck of a lifetime because, like I said, those deer, they cross just like that. I've had several hunts where I'm in the deer stand going in my bag or doing whatever, and I look up and I catch the tail end of a deer going in the bushes. You know what I'm saying? I missed a deer just like that. So I don't know if it was a doe. I don't know if it was a buck. It could have been a buck of a lifetime. So when you hunting that pipeline, you have to pay attention because you'll miss a deer just like that. So, well, man, it is what it is now. You know what I'm saying? I didn't make this video to make up excuses or whatever, but we still have to educate the people and educate other hunters because it's hunters out there, they never heard of a one-sided spike before, and some people don't even know what a spike is. So it's not a time to criticize or try to down me as a hunter. Oh yeah, you killed the illegal deer, and it is what it is, and you know what I'm saying? All that's it's fine with me, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody make mistakes, and it is what it is. But we're gonna move on to the next part. We're gonna look at the handbook. We're gonna look at some regulations, and we're gonna look at some definitions. Y'all stay tuned. So let's look at a picture of a one-sided spike, and let's look at a picture of what we call a traditional spike. All right, so here we go, people. A buck with a spike on one side is called a spike on one side, or SOS or SOOS buck. This can happen due to injury, and it's not usually genetic. All right, next we got causes. It's like fighting. The most likely cause is trauma to the pedestal or skull from fighting. It's a skeletal injury, mild winters, and then we got antler injuries. Injuries to the antler while it's in velvet can cause spike on one side. Then we got future development. The underlying cause determines if the buck will develop normal antlers in the future. It's a yearling SOS bucks have a chance of developing normal antlers. So I read that on something else. It said usually take about 2 or 3 years for them to shed, grow back, and then it might grow back normal. It's a antler deformities from skeletal injuries usually go away with each subsequent antler growth cycle. The younger bucks are the ones that have a chance of growing a normal antler back, but the older bucks don't. So next we got the spike, the traditional spike. What is a spike? A spike deer is a male deer that is at least 1.5 years old and has antlers that are unbranched. All right, next we're gonna look at the Texas handbook and look at some definitions. Let's find out what unbranched mean. Y'all stay tuned. So we're gonna go to the hunting season and regulations. We're gonna click on season by animals. Gonna click on whitetails. And this is my county right here. We're gonna go to my county, which is Houston County. This is my bag limit right here for my county. So let's say the bag limit in this county is 2 legal bucks, but only one may have an inside spread of 13 inches or greater. A legal buck deer is defined as a buck deer with at least one unbranched antler. There we go again with unbranched. Or an inside spread of 13 inches or greater. Does not apply to a buck that has an unbranched antler. Y'all hear that now? Does not apply to a buck that has an unbranched antler. A hunter may also take one buck with the inside spread of 13 inches or greater in a different county with the antler restriction and not to exceed that county's bag limit. So when you're looking at this regulation right here, when I open my book up, this is usually all I look at right here because I already understand the meaning. But if you look at this, nowhere in here does it have the word spike. So when you look at this here, for you technical hunters out there, nowhere in this regulation do it have the word spike. So we all know this. And it's not on your hunting license either. So a spike, according to the regulation, is a deer with a unbranched antler with an inside spread less, not greater, less than 13 inches. So we all know that that's what they're calling a spike. And on your license, it says the same thing. So if you look right here on the back of your license right here, it doesn't have the word spike. All it says is buck. Then you got two squares right here. The first square, you check that just because it's a buck. Now this next square has a star by it. And read what it says right here. It says, check this box, meaning the star box above, in addition to the buck box, if the buck has an inside spread of man, that wind is cutting up out there. If the buck has a 13 or greater inside spread. So that's for your buck that has a spread greater than 13 inches. So you would check both of these boxes. But if you shoot a spike, but as you see, there's no spike. Nowhere on here do you see the word spike. So if you shoot a buck that's less than 13 inches, then all you would check is this box right here. That's the only box you would check. Because the star box is for a buck that has a 13-inch or greater inside spread. So if you shoot a spike, then you would only check this box right here. You leave this box open. So that's how the game warden will tell if it's a buck or a spike. But for all you technical people, yes, on your license, nowhere on here does it mention the word spike. We all know that. So let's move on to see if we can find out what unbranched means. I don't know. Do you know what unbranched means? Some people don't know what unbranched means. So let's see if we can find out. So we're going to go back to the regulations, and then we're going to go to the general rules. Then we're going to click on definition. So here we go right here. Antler point. Now, in the definition section, if you go down to the use, it doesn't have unbranched antler nowhere in the definition. So we still don't know what an unbranched antler is. But if you look right here, it says antler point, which is a projection that extends at least 1 inch from the edge of the main beam or another tine. The tip of the main beam is also a point. So it's still not telling me what an unbranched antler is. It's nowhere in here. So we're going to move on. But remember, in your general regulations, it doesn't have the meaning of an antler point. You have to dig deeper into the manual to find out what an antler point is. Because in your general regulations, it doesn't say what a point is, and it doesn't say how long the the point has to be. So this where the inch rule come in. And you like, inch rule? I never heard of an inch rule. I never seen the inch rule in the handbook. It's in there. You just got to dig deeper and find it. Which, that's what I had to do because I didn't know nothing about the inch rule either, because I never go to the definition part of the handbook to look up a regulation. When I look at the regulation, I go to my county and what it have in my bag limit, that's what I usually go by. You know what I'm saying? So I never knew about the inch rule until now. So all right, we're gonna take a look at this book and we're gonna look at this this antler where it's broke off at. So y'all stay tuned. All right, here go a picture of that buck, and you can see where he was broke off at. And this next picture is a close-up. So let's look. Let's look at this break. So if you remember, if you go back to the definition, it says a projection that extends at least 1 inch from the edge of a main beam or another tine. The tip of a main beam is also a point. So let's look at this point where it broke off at. So here go the tip right here. So that's the tip that I got the red circle on. And what I'm assuming the edge of the main beam is where I got the arrows pointing. So y'all drop a comment and let me know, do you consider that being the edge? And when you're looking at the other little part, I'm guessing that's just part of where it broke off at. So, okay, now they was talking about the inch rule. So looking at where it's broke off at, where do you start measuring from? Because if you go back to the definition, it says, again, a projection that extends at least 1 inch from the edge of the main beam or another tine. The tip of the main beam is also a point. So you got to read this closely. On this break, where's the edge? We got to establish where the edge at. So is the edge where I got the arrow pointing? Y'all drop a comment and let me know what you think. And where would you start the measurement from? So the inch rule is saying a point starts at the edge of the main beam. And do that look like an inch to you? I mean, it could be. I mean, you really can't tell from the picture. You would actually have to have the deer in your hand. But the Game Warden measured it, and he said it was longer than an inch by 3/8. So y'all, I'm gonna let y'all be the judge. But hey, the law is the law, and we have to abide by the law. So it is what it is, and I took care of the citation, and it's over with now. So I have a picture that was sent to me from a hunter from the adjacent property, which is, I believe it's a lease. And he sent me a picture of this buck from the year before. So y'all take a look at it and y'all drop a comment and let me know what y'all think. The next picture that I'm about to show is a picture he's saying is the same buck. But if you look at it, you can see where his antler is broke off. And he's saying that that is the same deer. And I believe it. If you look at the picture, you can see it, you know what I'm saying? Plain as day. But it is what it is, man. Like I said, I ain't mad at nobody, and I went and took care of the citation. And but as far as everything, man, I'm not mad. And whether somebody called in on me or whether the game warden was just watching social media and found me, it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Things happen and, you know what I'm saying, people make mistakes, and if you broke the law, you have to pay for it. So I went and took care of the citation, and it's over with. And all I can say is it wasn't a waste of time, but it was a waste of time. But I went down to the annex building and I was gonna protest the citation, but then I thought about it, like, I was like, is it worth it, or is it really worth it? Because I believe I could have won, but sometimes it's just better just to leave things alone. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't protest the ticket. I just went on and paid it. Because when she told me how much it was, I said, what? I said, that's it? I hurry up and reached in my wallet and paid that ticket and got on up out of there. Because I done seen much worse. So whether somebody called in on me or whether the game warden was watching social media, I know we had people saying that the game wardens watch social media, and which they do. The game wardens have been watching social media, and they have been catching people doing illegal stuff on YouTube. But here go the citation right here. It was $181. If you look at the citation, man, the majority of the fine is court fees and taxes. So the actual fine for the deer was only $100, man. It was only $100, man. So we went through all this here for $100. And it don't make no sense, man. It really don't. But it is what it is, and I'm going to just leave it at that, man. So I'm not going to get into a pissing contest with nobody. So if anybody out there still feeling salty about it, let it go, man. It is what it is. We done moved on. It's time to do some crappie fishing, some saltwater fishing. And at the end of the day, I'm a YouTuber. I had to make a business decision whether or not to drop that video. You know what I'm saying? I could have took that video and kept it to myself and not showed nobody. But I decided to put it out, and I already knew it was gonna be some backlash, whether somebody called in on me or whether the game wardens were watching on YouTube. So to all you fellow YouTubers out there, the game wardens are watching YouTube, so be careful what you post. And in my situation, I actually believe somebody called in on me, but I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. And I appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate everybody that donated for the citation. Austin Patriot, D. Duke, Kurt Purnell, Dwayne Williams. I appreciate all my new subscribers. I appreciate everybody that's been rocking with me from day one. I appreciate the people that left the channel. You know what I'm saying? I know who you are. I see you on other people's channels. So it's all good. We're going to keep on dropping content, and we're going to keep on moving. And it's not about whether I won or I lost. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thankful for having the opportunity to do the things I love to do, hunting, fishing, and loving. You know what I'm saying? So, and before I get off of here, unbranched. We never got to unbranch. So unbranch means if you have two antlers, just say it's a spike with two antlers sticking straight up like this here. Branch would mean that he got a point or something sticking off of one of the antlers. Unbranch means they just straight up and down, just like this. He don't have no point sticking off of it. They just straight up and down like this here. That's what unbranch means. And in order for it to be considered branched, that's where the inch rule come in. It has to be longer than an inch. So if he got a little nub sticking off his antler, if it's not longer than an inch, then he's still considered unbranched because it's shorter than an inch. So you got to read these rules, man. They tricky. That's why you got to read further into the handbook, because right in your guidelines, it doesn't tell you everything. You have to research and go further into the handbook. But unbranched means just two sticking up, or he could just have one sticking up. But as long as it don't have a point coming off of it, that's what unbranched means. At least one antler unbranched. At least one or the other. It don't matter. At least one antler unbranched. That's what unbranched means. And y'all stay tuned for some more videos, and I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Love y'all. Peace.